Hello there. Welcome to the Irish Warhammer podcast. My name is David McCarthy,
My name is Richard Flood.
and we are here for our first episode of our new series on the new Warhammer 40k.
So, episode 4, new 40k.
New 40k, yeah. So today we're going to start off by going through some of the big differences. People that have joined us before will know I'm mainly the AOS guy, but I've started to dabble in 40k now. And I play a team event actually in July, Floody. So,
good.
so yeah, hopefully we're learning the rules
So
today.
what's your most experienced 40king army?
Oh, Chaos Demons, and they have survived, baby.
Survived, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
So I will
great.
probably reiterate them a lot in my experiences, but obviously, Floody, tell us about yourself.
I've been playing since the 3rd Ed Necron Codex came out. I kind of missed 7th, 8th, 9th a bit. So I've had some experience playing teams back at the very, very early starting days, the first couple of years of
wow.
the ETC.
Nice.
So I did a bit of captaining at that the second year, which I would never go back and do again, but it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, of course.
But the team stuff is great. And then I've been playing a variety of stuff over 10th, and then started getting back into tournaments. Played a couple of 2-day events and a bunch of 1-day RGTs. So I've been really enjoying it. And this seems like the ideal time to start, looking at things again and a little bit more competitively than maybe I had been.
Yeah.
And
So I suppose it's a good point for us to reiterate. Obviously, we're trying to be a competitive Warhammer podcast. So we're obviously not going to be reading out how to roll your dice. We're going to try and, this is the pro and the noob, I guess, trying to reiterate through the rules. And I guess there's a lot to cover, right? This is going to be a big kind of series for us, I
yeah,
think.
so there's a lot of stuff here on the new edition. There's a huge amount of change in the core rules. The missions are absolutely complete change, revolutionary. So we're going to have a look at all that and sort of have a look at things that, what can you do, the application of these changes rather than just saying the changes.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, and I think that's the one thing. Even listen to other content creators out there for it. It's there seems to be quite a few really nice kind of quality of life things in here on how to play the game.
Yeah. So there's I suppose we start at the start.
Yeah, let's go right at the start.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't have. I know there's a few rules missing around mustering, but we do have some definitive things here. So we know that you can put 2 leaders into a unit.
Okay, that sounds fun.
So so you've got basically leaders, characters, and support characters. So that's stuff like your captains, and then your apothecaries and that kind of stuff.
So Death Stars.
Yeah, so it'll be. I think there's a lot of play here for adding in those extra synergies that you just couldn't get before. So it'll be. I think a lot of it will depend on the FAQs and things that are going to be coming out as to the specific applications of some of this stuff, like the Chaos Sorcerer and Emperor's Children provides cover for his unit.
Oh,
So if you could add that with having one of the Lord Exultants in there for a bit of damage,
It's, Swiss Army knife. Then it gets a bit of durability as well as the damage buff. Very nice. I do like that. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun.
There's a couple of other simple changes, like reserves is just 50% of your army can go into reserve.
I also like how it's not at the end of the movement phase now for the ingress move, right? For bringing them in.
Yes.
Which is huge.
That is...
We won't have the LVO fiasco ever again, right?
Not familiar, but... what happened there?
Basically, Nick Navavanti was playing Art of War Friend, and he... his opponent was that he played in the final round, the round prior. His opponent was doing the pre-measure with a kind of a Stormlance. I believe it was like a soup Space Marine list at the time, and the opponent just said, "Oh, we're at the end of the movement phase," and didn't let him go forward with the rest of his turn, and deleted his entire army with Eldar. And then in the following game, then Nick called him out on that rule and caught him out. He couldn't advance in charge. I believe it was Shining Spears at the time. So we won't have any of that fiasco anymore. I'll send you the video. You
All
can
right,
watch it.
okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound...
Yeah, so we won't have that anymore.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And
Yeah.
you don't have to finish moving a model before you start moving another one. So we're going to get into all that, right?
Yeah. And where was I going with that?
with the reserves, so it's just 50-50.
50%,
Yeah.
so you're not messing around with that. And they come in 8 away.
Yes.
So you're not trapped in as much. But with the changes to charges that we'll talk about later, it's similar but different.
Yeah, it's just the space of which you can block out the board is slightly less. But is it? We'll look at coherency later on for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we going to go first, Floody? Start at the very, very beginning, right?
Very beginning.
So, command phase?
The command phase.
Yeah, see? I remember this.
That's it. You're doing yourself bad here. You know plenty about this. You know plenty about this. So couple of nice little changes here. Battle shock happens before all the abilities.
So first thing that happens.
First thing that happens after start the command phase stuff.
Yeah.
But so this is great. This will be really handy for those abilities that you need to trigger in your opponent's command phase, but like interrupting people could be a little bit awkward. And there's a lot of this that the timing has changed really well across all the phases, so that you know when you can do something, and you just have to sort of say, I'm going to do something at the end of the phase. If you you can just, before we go to, I'll start shooting now. No, just before we do that, this is the time I do my thing.
Well, it's knowledge of what's happening that you get to see it. You get to see what happens before you actually kind of focus on doing that to someone. This is really nice,
So, battle shock happens for abilities, and now we must unbattle shock things.
Yeah, so this seems really fun for my demons too, just because all of those concurrent battle shock, debuffs, minuses, healing, damage, like this seems really, really big. And I think on top of the stratagem change with how you use stratagems, I think that's really big. I wanted to do something, right?
Yeah, and I think it definitely does now, and it adds, so that I think that it's added a lot of weight to things like Shadow in the Warp, which always felt a bit underwhelming.
Massive, right.
And now there seems to be an opening for all those little characters like the Necron Royal Warden and other things like that say in the movement phase, whatever phase, they just pick a unit and they go, that unit's not battle shocked anymore, or auto battle shock clearing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So for your lower or higher leadership armies, that can be really important. So those characters might have a bit of play.
Yeah, it's always
useful.
great to see units get love that haven't been getting as much or felt very not very impactful on the game. And now just seeing, previously you'd see, battle shock rule. Well, if I'm going against Space Marines, well, it's not great. When I'm going against Guardsmen, it's fantastic. Whereas now, even so, it could be massive. Yeah, love this change. Love it.
And you're going to be taking more battle shocks, and battle shocks on things you were never taking battle shock on before.
Yeah,
because it's at half strength now, not below.
Below, yeah, and that's actually come up a lot, even in games I've played in the last little while, where it actually has come up where you're at half, and I don't take that right now.
Yeah, my favourite unit from 10th edition was 2 Necron Heavy Destroyers. Because they never took battle shock, and you could get them back reasonably easy and getting a whole model back even at one move. They were brilliant, and they performed really well. But that's all changed now.
Yeah.
And the same Talos, 2s of anything.
2s of anything, yeah, that's a really interesting, now to think about it, now we're talking about it out loud, that is a big change. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
I think things like 3s and 2s will be just a little bit more cautious of battle shock. I think maybe everything needs to be a little bit more cautious of battle shock, especially if you've got poor leadership.
Or ways to affect that leadership skill of people. They really need to be scared of you, right? Yeah.
I mean, you can make an entire Tyranid army where everything has some way of interacting with you via battle shock, modifying battle shocks, stacking those modifiers in battle shocks. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep those synapse rules with the +1 strength and the penalty to battle shock tests when you're within 6 of them.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's pretty big change, pretty big. And is that all the main changes in the command phase?
that's the main stuff in
Okay.
in the command
Nice
phase.
and easy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll move on to movement.
Yeah. The most Best phase, in my opinion.
I mean, this is the phase that wins games.
I love this phase. My favourite thing is to move my models around.
Right.
So I guess the main thing, I can start with this one, is models, well, have to move in a straight line, but we no longer pay a pivot tax,
Huge.
which is awesome.
It's going to be really impactful on long vehicles. Your Raiders, are the ones-
Doomsday Ark.
Doomsday Ark. These guys are going to be getting some real swingy angles by twisting around.
Does he fly?
Yeah.
All right. What's the fly rule do now?
Well, fly gets, if you have the fly keyword, you get the option to use the rule take to the skies.
Yes.
Drop 2 off your movement, and then you can just move through walls. You can move through dense terrain.
And no pivot tax on top of
And
that.
no pivot tax.
Wow, okay. So moving your big models, especially your flying monsters like your Angrons, Fulgrums, Bloodthirsters, you're going to use them again, right?
Yeah, so this is just good for getting models on the table, good for getting models moving. You're going to want to play your, as you say, your Angrons, your Fulgrums, your your flying, your Winged Hive Tyrant.
Yeah, yeah.
These
You're
guys-
just getting to use your models
Yeah,
again. In a more beneficial way. It's great.
Your entire Tau list.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So that's it. That was probably one of the ones I was like, oh yes, I get to do that. What is some of the other stuff?
So coherency has changed. Everything has to be within 9, basically in a 9-inch circle.
Yeah.
So they all have to be within 9 inches. Now, and then they have to be within 2 of at least one other model in the unit. Now, there is something funny that goes on with this. So imagine
first thing you showed me
the band the bomb, the peace sign, with the circle and the split into 3 triangles. Where those lines hit the tops of the
Tangent with the
circles, if you placed 2 models at where those lines hit the big circle, each of those models is within 2 of one other model in the unit, and they are all within 9 of each other, even though they can be about 4 to 5 inches apart, depending on base size.
That's mental. That is crazy.
It seems like they've missed the bit.
Day
that
one
says,
FAQ.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
Yeah.
they've missed the bit that says in one group. So you can technically, at the moment, split them out into little groups if they all stay within 9 and if they all stay in their little groups.
Apart from the zoning aspect of that, why might that be beneficial, do you think? With a 2-inch engagement range. For... Well, number one is maybe a surge move, potentially. Just having that option in a bigger area.
You can go in different directions.
Directions, potentially.
Yeah.
But other than that, maybe for pulling stuff out of engagement range so you can shoot at them.
If you're
They combat you.
If you're in on big bases, you can actually get quite far, and maybe there's a situation where you're blocking somewhere and like clipping 2 objectives at the same time.
Well, that's the first one, right? Is the objective control of it. Yeah. So coherency, that coherency change is pretty big, right?
It's not going to last though. But keeping everything within 9, it doesn't look like it's a big deal for most squads. For your really big squads, you're not going to be stringing out. So
like your 20 Cadian squad, yeah.
Maybe there's now, for if you're screening with stuff, there's a use case for maybe using 2 10-mans instead of 120 in something like that, which would have always been my preference. I very much am an MSU player. I do it in AOS, I do it in 40k. It plays better in 40k than it does in AOS.
Yes, it does. Unless you're playing cities, but anyway. So what's the next kind of thing we have, Trent?
Well, moving in general, you can now move up and over things like crates.
Yes.
So this is going to be a big boon for things like dreadnoughts, the other walkers, war dogs, vehicles that are just trying to get in. Now you have to measure up, across, and down.
And down, yeah.
So you're going to want a chunky bit of movement, and you can't. Remembering you can't stop in or overhanging a piece of terrain or a wall
so your
or
base
anything.
has to be flat, right? Yeah.
So but anything that makes moving your models around easier, and not having situations where, oh, I have a Land Raider, I can't do anything. I just
Yeah.
can't
My
get around the
favourite
board.
one with this is swarms can move through walls now.
Could swarms not always move through walls?
No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't. Beasts and infantry.
Beasts and infantry and Primarchs.
So,
And
and
calls.
Primarchs. Yeah. Whereas now my Nurgles go, yeah! And just run out through the wall. It's great.
Very nice.
Mm.
Fallback moves.
Fallout.
Fallback moves have changed as well. You now have 2 modes.
You do? Yes, I
So
saw
we've got
this.
safe mode, basically as normal,
And oh no mode.
and then dangerous mode, which you can have to use if you're battle shocked, and can optionally use then if you're not battle shocked, which is where the little bit of sauce comes in, because you can move through enemy models
Very nice.
on that. So if you've got a bit of movement, and it's a little bit more difficult now with the 2-inch engagement range, but if you've got that bit of movement to get away and through people, you can get into some really nice spots at the cost of taking a battle shock test and hazard rolls for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, this is a big one, yeah.
Yeah, so hazard rolls have been evened out across the whole thing. So it's on a 1 or a 2, you take a mortal wound.
Or monster,
Or if
you
you're
take
a
3.
vehicle, you take monster vehicle, you take 3. So this is much better for falling back than automatically being destroyed.
Of course, yeah.
I think it is on average for infantry, it works out about the same. 10 Hellblaster shooting should on average still lose 1 model. So that stays about the same. But for vehicles, the hazardous tests are, and monsters, the hazardous tests are a bit more punishing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something we'll definitely get onto in the shooting phase.
50% more damage than you were, or 100% more damage than you were taking before.
Exactly, which is mental. Absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Also, the other one is a monster and vehicle can essentially move through enemy infantry, beasts, or swarms, excluding other monster vehicles, which is just a nice change.
Yep, it's just another one that
Yeah.
makes you more mobile. So I think we generally are seeing that you're much more mobile and you're much more able to get around the board, which will help when we get onto the shooting phase, because of the hidden rule and that. But we'll go through that at the time. So that's.
I'm feeling good about those changes. I think they're really nice quality of life stuff.
Yeah, and I think another rule that it'll be interesting to see where it appears is the frame rule. Which, where you're measuring to things without bases and
I
things
did see that noted.
Triarch stalkers. It'll be interesting to see what gets that. Will things like the Raider, discussing earlier, will that be a frame model? Because it'll just be interesting to see positioning and things like that.
Of course, yeah, and when they can fit in, how they can and use and activate from. Yeah. Okay.
The last.
Oh, we do have one
thing
more on our points here. Yeah.
Is the combat disembark.
Yes. Oh, yes. This could be very sharp. Well, my other army maybe will use this, but not my demons.
Yeah. So, basically, if you get blocked up in a transport,
Okay.
you can use this combat disembark to get out. Within 6, wholly within 6, because these moves to get out of the transport. So you can only move up to 6, so it's effectively a wholly within 6.
Yeah.
And you can place yourself into combat, and you battle shock yourself.
Do you have to roll the battle shock, or do you?
No, you are just battle shocked.
Wow.
Yes, but you can't optionally choose this. You have to be forced. It's basically, if you can't do a normal or emergency disembark, you're forced into this. And there's not a lot of ways to make it happen, but you could try to block and blow your own transport up, potentially using hazardous.
Yeah.
To get your guys out. Now, there's another downside to that as well, is you will be taking your hazard rolls, and your vehicle, if it explodes, now explodes after you get out.
Oh, hilarious.
Yes. So
Danger.
Wow,
okay, that could be really, really dangerous. Okay, so a lot of good few changes in there. Really exciting for me. as a big monster lover player, not so excited about playing against you with Doomsday Arcs, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I guess now is a good time to go into the shooting phase.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
again, loads of change here.
Loads.
Yeah.
Loads.
So-
This, yes.
There's a big potential for this edition to be really lethal. So the first thing to say, you only need to toe into a piece of terrain
To see out of it.
to see out of it.
Yeah, that was mental change that I saw. Because I remember a couple of times I was playing games when we started to learn 10th edition. And, you know, you're going up with your Rapex or something like that. You're like, oh, can I just toe into this and then shoot from it? But no, you can't. Whereas now doing that seems very, very powerful.
Yeah, so that and the extra movement and things, it's going to be a lot harder to hide, although there are definitely some ways
To hide. Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot of room there for fast vehicles, monsters, units packing a lot of firepower. Blocks of Necron destroyers come to mind. They have fly. They have a good gun. They have rerolls built into them, so they're not overly worried about giving away cover. There's ways to get rid of cover, and they get a lot of visibility.
And obviously we'll have to talk about maps, which is a good bit down the line for us to really see how effective that change is. But it just feels like if we're already doing an evaluation now of just what we've covered, it seems your mobility is up, using your models is a bit easier, and also activating them seems easier here. And even so, when we get to the charge phase, there is that as well. So it seems really good so far.
Yeah, and with the cover changes being minuses to your ballistic skill,
yeah.
it feels like those weapons, those AP2, AP1 weapons, actually have a bit more of a purpose again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you've got access to some rerolls to kind of mitigate a lot of that, a reroll is more powerful than a -1 to hit. Now, obviously, a reroll without a penalty to hit is better.
Man.
But if you can get one, it's still a benefit to have the rerolls. So that's nice. Everybody now has to be in your target unit has to have cover to benefit from cover.
Yes.
So that is something to keep an eye on in movement and
getting a guy over a wall to take an objective, to be in coherency in the L or the terrain feature, in the dense terrain, then that activation when it shoots will be at full ballistic skill, right?
Yeah, depending on where the guy. But I mean, hopefully you're in area terrain.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you
Yeah.
still have your cover. If you're within area terrain or obscured by the.
And monsters and vehicles only get this if they're obscured and behind it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So, but that's a huge buff for a lot of things. That defensive buff is fantastic.
Yeah.
Terror ring units though have a kind of an opposite cover, right? They get +1 ballistic skill if they're within 12 now, I believe.
Yeah, they get
perpetuating fire or
they
something.
get plunging.
Yeah.
They get plunging fire that
yeah.
used to be an AP gain. Now it's a to hit gain. So it used to cancel cover. It still now cancels
cover. Yeah,
Cancels cover. Makes sense. It's going to make those big towering models just a little bit more consistent.
Notably, aircraft don't get this.
No.
That's really sad.
GW just seem to hate aircraft.
It's ever since the Helldrake meta, I believe. When was that? Gee, God, that was
Eighth.
8th. The Helldrake Balefire Flamer.
Yeah, well, I like this. If it means that monoliths can be a little bit more playable and move around a bit more, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Now,
the big one.
The big thing, hidden. Or is it going to be the big thing?
Well, haven't they already initially now changed? It was always just 15, and now it can be 12.
You can reduce it to 12 using Gone to Ground, which is not a strat, it's an ability where basically everybody is in area terrain and obscured physically by a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
So that will reduce things down and possibly make things better, but everything is so fast. And
yeah, now it is.
now,
And also, we're already seeing a lot of rules with detection range to counter the hidden
yeah,
rules.
so there's
Tower are probably going to have all of it.
they loads of stuff. They sort of said at the start, this is going to be kind of rare, whatever, and then they proceeded over those last 3 weeks to give every unit at least a detachment with at least one or two things in it that are like, oh no, we mess up with your detection range.
Yeah, and especially with the cover change not being a save, if you have ignores cover, then as you said, the game would be a lot more lethal in that regard.
Yeah. But then if you do want to benefit from this, you're not shooting. So how much of an impact will it really have if shooting is super lethal and then you want to shoot back?
Yeah. But I mean, in saying that, it's going to be great to have my 10 Plague Bearers with a Scrivener walk up into the middle and say, well, at least I know, depending on the matchup, they're actually okay for the first turn. You're not going to get hit by a Forge Fiend that's 18 inches away now. You know, he's going to have to come up a bit closer.
There's a lot of room here for pre-measuring and making sure you will know. And I think it's probably one of those things where you'll start to get it into your head, if they have a 12-inch move, they can get to here, and if I stand at this point on the map, I won't be able to be shot, or...
Yeah, then stage and then to react to that coming at you, yeah.
I mean, those things were all there in 10th.
Yeah.
And it'll just be another situation of working out where those corners are, where those little zones of protection are, and going, right, I can't be hit here, or you have to be at least move 14, 15 to get to here to shoot me, or whatever. And then, sometimes those are the risks you take.
Yeah, and notably, mounted units don't get this, right? It's infantry, swarms, and beasts that get this, which is quite interesting. I thought they would have mounted in there too. I wonder if you have a mounted character that joins, like a Flux Master that joins my Pink Horrors, what happens then? Do they lose the hidden mechanic then? I wonder.
I haven't looked at that, and we should try and have a dig for that.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
Yeah, that's one thing I thought about, actually.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So there's...
So that's some big changes in there, big fundamental changes, but all quite good, I think.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see. Hopefully now there is a balance between combat and shooting. It feels a bit easier to get your combat units up the table, but it also then feels easy to shoot them off if you've got the tools to do that.
Yeah, and especially with a keyword getting a certain buff where those guys getting cover have no extra defense, like Psychic, that we'll get into later. It's going to be an interesting lethality gain, I think, there. So, right, we're on to the charge phase. The blood pressure phase. This is where it all gets nervy.
Huge change here.
Yeah.
So this is something that I struggled with when I got back into playing 40k, was in AOS, you don't declare a charge. You just
roll it.
Roll the dice and then see where you can go. So we've had a very similar change here. Now we will be rolling the dice and picking the targets. So you're going to go for those long bomb 12-inch charges if you've got something that you can reliably go into. Or, what's nice now is you don't have to charge.
Yes, that was huge. I noticed that myself. You actually don't have to complete it.
Yeah. Sometimes you second guess yourself, you roll the dice and go, oh...
You forget a rule they might have, and you're asking your opponent, you're like, oh, I actually don't want to do that.
Yeah. No. So...
Now, I suppose a good weave into that now of the landing in the base to base now. So obviously we said that when you ingress or deep strike, you're 8 inches away from your enemy, or technically 8.00001.
Yeah, it's more than 8.
Exactly, yeah. So you're going to have to bung the 9-inch charge.
Yeah. You have to hit base to base in your charges.
Yeah.
So even if your engagement range being 2, engagement range being 2 is actually a much bigger change than I think people will give it credit for. I mean, we're well used to...
Oh, my Skull Crushers are going to have a field day, man.
We're well used to a 3-inch engagement range from Sigmar.
Yeah.
But it really shuts down that kind of leapfrogging over units. Things that fly with big bases are going to be suddenly sort of really going, oh, I have to clear that unit. I have to start from further back, and then I have to go further to clear them.
Of course. Yeah. That's a big gain on that from an inch before.
When you're screening now, there's a lot of scope to, you know, like, use terrain, use other pieces of you know, scatter models of, you know, other units to shut down those gaps where the model can land.
And with the new coherency, that is doable.
Yeah, so there's I wouldn't be as worried about the coherency in the first units and stuff, but I think, you know, that's on most units. That's now 4 inches plus your base size, so you're going in around 5 and a bit inches.
Yeah.
For your Marines,
but I do like that. There's also a pretty meaningful change to. Will we talk about the strats there, or we'll leave that for together, right? Yeah, we'll leave it for together. So I think this is great. I really love this. I like rolling the dice. Everyone likes, you know, oh, will I go for the 4-inch charge over the wall, or oh, if I make that 12-inch charge, though, it's gonna add to funness of the game, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a great change.
Yeah, it was something that in 40k there only really ever felt like there was 3 or 4 charge distances that people did. There was like the 2-inch unfailable charge.
Is that failable now?
Yes. It is failable now.
Yeah.
Double ones fail because you have to be more than 2.
Exactly.
You have to get to base.
Yeah.
So double ones fails. But there was a lot of, you know, people were either going to make the unfailable charge, or they were making the deep strike charge.
Yeah.
Or they were going I need to roll like an 11 charge. That was all there really seemed to be, you know.
Yeah, this could be a big buff for those deep striking stuff, like my incursion, you know. You're coming down with Scarbrand, you're like, okay, well now is that going to be, well obviously the rules is going to be it's going to be a 7 now, right, instead of the 6-inch it was previously, because it was a CP to drop down 6 away. Whereas now if I roll that charge and I get that 12, oh, I'm in the middle of that enemy army, instead of just my very easy 6-inch.
But at least Scarbrand doesn't fly.
True, but he's a monster.
Yeah.
So he goes over infantry stuff now,
through, but he
which
doesn't
is good.
fly. He doesn't fly.
But yeah, so this is a great change. Not too much here. I think you more talk about strats when you see the changes, like for this one.
Yeah. So,
but we're gonna save that to together, I believe.
Yeah.
So on to combat. Fight phase.
Fighting.
Sorry, that was the AOS version. My bad. The fight phase.
So, big changes here.
Yes.
And big changes in how you're going to allocate those saves. So, have you had a look at this?
I have, but I would say now we'll see. You still fight first with the units you charge with. That's still the same. But all of the pile-ins, starting with the active player, happen at the same time. Okay?
Yeah.
And the saving thing, I haven't really looked into it now.
Well, I suppose better start with the pile-ins. This so all at once is really different.
Interesting.
Really interesting. So I suppose it'll cut down on some of the pile-in jank for objectives and pulling extra things in and blocking that was going on before, but it'll definitely open up some new options.
It will speed up the game though.
It will make things faster,
which is great.
Yeah,
I love speed.
I think this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve at the start when we get to the next step, which is the eligible to fight. But so
it's an interesting change.
It is an interesting change.
But my favourite thing about it is just it's very back forth in a way of togetherness, right? So it's like, okay, I'm doing all my pile-ins. You go, buddy. You do all your pile-ins. Let's get into fighting. So it seems like it's just what I'm seeing here as more of an outside perspective is the quality of life changes seem very accessible here.
Yeah, this'll speed things up.
Yeah.
So if you do all yours, I do all mine.
And then
There's
we're
no-
eligible to fight then.
There's no interrupting each other during it or
Yes.
messing around there, and then you are where you are.
There is an interrupt in the fight though with a strategy,
There is an interrupt.
Yeah, just
there is
yeah,
still
clear,
interrupts, and you can alternate with the fights first.
Yes. Yeah.
But I suppose the next step then is who is eligible to fight. So if you charged, if you were in combat after the pile-in, and if you were in combat after the pile-in, you were eligible to fight.
If you were in combat, so you're not now.
Yes.
So you can pile out of engagement. Is that what we're
I think it's if things get killed.
Things get killed, right? Okay.
So and
Weird.
you can get pulled in later in the combat with consolidates and things, and then
Is that specifically for a character attached to a unit? If the unit gets killed and then he's not technically in engagement range, the character
Well, he's still
counts as the unit, right?
he still counts as the unit.
Yeah,
It's still
yeah.
the unit. Then once the characters are attached, they're attached for good.
Oh, I get you. He's now out. Then you were technically in range. You get to pile in.
Yeah.
Get it now. Light bulb. Okay, cool.
Yep. So this is one. I think this is one that'll be fine 90% of the time. You'll have like units charge each other, and they'll be there. They'll be in combat. It'll be very obvious. But there'll be a few weird ones where things are getting killed by mortal wounds,
Impacts, stuff like that. Yeah.
charging an opponent with one unit into two of their units that have fights first could lead to some really weird interactions with who can pile where and who can make one of these different types of fight, because we've two different types of fight.
Yeah.
So with normal fighting, you're in base to base with someone, and then it's if you were eligible to, you do the overrun one where you make a pile in move and then you
Go again,
then you
essentially.
fight.
Yeah.
It's that sort of like the
So
old
it's a
the
double
old
activation
version.
into something and then...
Double piling,
Move up.
yeah. You can end up kind of moving big distances. You can actually end up moving really big distances if you.
So would that be if my Scarbrand and Bloodthirster charged in, he batters something, the other Bloodthirster now still gets to do a move to get into another engagement to slap?
Yes, if you'd like charged something else, charged with impact, mortals killed it, you'd like get to pile in.
Also for transport, killing stuff inside transports, right?
Yeah,
Which is
exactly,
big.
yeah.
It's really big.
It's easier to catch the stuff now.
Exactly, yeah. They're not just put outside. Obviously, they have to make those new hazardous rolls, right? But
Yeah.
but then again, getting into them is better. Okay.
Yeah.
Curse you, Wave Serpent.
Yeah. And then you hit them, and this is different.
Okay.
I don't know how much of a change this is really going to make, but it should, I think, make keeping your attached units alive for longer, and where you've got mixed saves, you can sort of leverage for a round or two those sort of stronger saves. So like if you've got 4-up saves and 3-up saves in a unit, you batch everything together. So everything that is...
So 10 wounds go through onto your unit.
10 wounds go through.
Yeah.
The defending player splits out their units into, say, 5 guys with 4+ saves,
Yep.
5 guys with 3+ saves,
Mhm.
and these all have to have the same save, wounds, and invulnerable save.
Okay.
And then say there's a character attached, and he's got a 2-up save.
He's Artificer Armor, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So you roll your 10 saves, and then you've picked one of either the 4+ or the 3+. Characters have to wait till the end. But then if you've multiple characters, you say which one's going to take the wounds first and which one's going to take the wounds
Okay.
after that.
So we had our 10 dice.
Yeah.
We've now split them into a
Nope.
group of...
Nope, we've split the defending unit into groups of models.
Okay, fine. Yes.
So then we roll our 10 dice, roll our 10 saves,
Okay.
and starting with the lowest numbers, we put those to the saves that we said first. So I was like thinking about this, and I don't know why you don't just apply to your worst saves first. So if you rolled 5 1s and 5 3s,
Yeah.
all the 1s will go on to the 4-up saves and kill them. and then all the 3s will go on to the 3-up saves, and they'd be okay. But if you did it the other way around and rolled your 3-up save guys first, they would take the 1s and die, and then the 3s would kill your 4-up guys.
Wait, this is massive, no?
It is, but it's
It's not as
it's not as big
everywhere.
as you think, and because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not everywhere.
Yeah.
Where there are different profiles, this is going to make a difference. But like on your regular squad, if everybody's got the same save and wounds, it's just you just roll your dice.
Yeah.
But it's where you have a character, you can take out all those low rolls first.
Very nice. Okay, keep
Yeah.
stuff alive. And then, of course, the other change there is the bodyguard unit, or the unit attached, technically isn't dead when all the models are removed, right? So you can get healing back on
Yes,
them.
so
Yeah.
you can heal them back up.
Yeah.
You can, as you said earlier, get wiped out all your wraiths to just a technomancer, and then
start healing them back.
healing back wraiths.
Yeah.
Um,
God, I'm never playing against you if you do that, by the way.
I will totally do that.
I know you will. So it seems really interesting. Fast rolling is now the standard.
The standard,
Yeah, which is great.
And something to note as well is, and this will probably take people a little bit of getting used to, the fighting in 2 ranks is gone. So it's just the 2-inch engagement range.
Okay.
So this is a bit different for things on big bases, like the, say, the Blood Crushers.
Yeah,
with their
big bases.
With their big
yeah,
bases.
Yeah.
Used to get one in, and then everyone else could just tow onto him at the back.
You might get 3 in a combat if you were strung out in a line.
Yeah. Whereas now
You're probably getting 5.
you can still do it. So it's not as bad as it first looks, but it is a bit different. You've kind of got to start doing this like 3-pronged. So you've got 2 coming out at 45 degrees, and then another guy coming into the center to make like an arrowhead shape. 2 lines and then 1 going straight. So that's a very common positioning in Sigmar with its 3-inch engagement range, and you can generally get like 10 cavalry bases in doing that
quite effectively.
effectively.
Yeah.
So, and I think 40k, you don't tend to have those like 10-man cavalry units. You're looking at like most things 6 blood crushers.
We don't have
fiends.
10 Skyweaver units, like, you know.
No. So it's
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll want to making those charges if you're looking to get loads of stuff in, and you're strung out a bit with your pile-ins and everything. You're looking to clump up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
aim for those shapes.
The shapes, cutting shapes, Pythagoras all over the place. Love it. Okay, yeah. Look, again, it's just all quality of life stuff that seems streamlining stuff, making things quicker, which I'm all for.
Yeah. And then I suppose that feeds into the next bit. Consolidating it's such a good rule. This used to be very messy when you had like guys there with units in range, objectives in range, and it's like, you have to do this over this, and if
you have to fill in a form to do the job, right?
Stop.
Yeah, it was horrific.
If you could reach these but not hit base to base, then you could move some. It's really cleaned up now. So this is just going to be really simple, and you're going to follow.
I do love how they've laid this out on the digital doc.
So
it's really, really clever.
Following the flow chart will be good. It's like, do I do this kind of consolidate move, this kind of consolidate move, or the objective? So it's like ongoing, engaging, and objective consolidating. And it says like, you have to do this. If you can't do this, you have to do this one, and then you can only do this if you can't do the last one. So it's like perfect. I think this is great, and
very clear on the written rules of it.
I don't actually think there's any change here.
Yeah.
But it's
explained in a
it's
much
just
better way.
Explained really well. I watched like a 15-minute video on this in 10th, and I was like, oh, right, okay. And then like I went to an event and I was like,
the scratch head, I love it.
Yeah.
Because you're actually doing it now.
Yeah, because I predominantly play shooting armies. I think shooting is just more efficient. I don't like giving the other guy a chance to hit me back in my own turn.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You know, even though you're a slash man, but you know, that's fair. We'll allow it.
Yeah. Well, the whole jam with Slanesh was hitting you loads before you.
Yeah, that's strike first.
Or
Yeah,
even
yeah.
in your
But
turn.
this is really cool.
Yeah.
Are there any? But as you said, from 10th, it's consolidating is pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah. Okay.
But really clear now. There's not going to be a whole lot of room for messing this up.
Great. I love that.
Yeah.
Why? Because it makes the game what faster.
Faster, easier,
Yeah.
more time playing the game and not
And
having
to make
think.
those decisions on the crazy missions that we will reveal in episodes to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna go through the missions and
The
the
new
dispositions, and it's
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. I think it's great.
yeah,
I think it's cool. Cool is the word I'd probably use at the moment before we have it in concrete. But yeah, so I mean, that's a lot of the key phases, right? Before we get on to some of the stuff like the main thing being the change to terrain and how terrain works.
yep.
So I mean, I feel like, you know, I could pretty much easily jump into a game now and kind of follow some of these flow charts and be playing
Yeah.
to a good level,
Yeah.
you know.
The flow charts are great. The numbering is great.
Yeah, they brought that from our side too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this will make everything much easier. Tells you exactly when to do and gets all that nice timing and stuff in there for you. So that will make the game faster. And I think that's about where we're going to stop for this episode.
Yeah, I think. Well, once again, first of all, I suppose I'd like to say thanks to everybody for joining us. It is great to talk about 40k as a kind of a newer-ish player to the system, and I hope you enjoyed the first episode. There are plenty more to come, and I suppose going forward we're going to be doing our concurrent episodes on topics as we get more information coming out, because obviously we've just had the digital doc download at the moment, right?
Yeah. We're going to try and get our hands on that and give it a review, give our thoughts on it, you know, for those who might want to listen.
Exactly. And also, I suppose, in kind of conjunction with the AOS episodes, we like to do announcements. We do have we do announcements. If you ever have an event that you're running, send it in to us. We'll happily advertise it.
We want to know about your events, stuff coming up, going on. You can email into the Irish Warhammer podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
And we will get a shout out for all those things. We mentioned it in our earlier episodes, but I'm going to say it again here because this one is primarily 40k. Is the Drogheda Tabletop Lodge are running a 3-game 2,000 point event on the 11th of July. So that's up in Drogheda.
Yeah.
They have, I believe, they have some ads in the Irish gaming community group on Facebook.
Yep.
But I'm sure that'll be a good place to start, and you'll be able to get in contact with them. So they have an event going on. I know my local club up in the North Kildare Club, the North Kildare Wargaming Club,
Yep.
are going to be running an event soon. At some
Oh,
point,
yes, you
at some
mentioned
point
this,
during
yeah.
the summer. We're just having a look at getting like some 11th terrain and footprints sorted and together, and then we're going to be running something very soon.
Awesome. I will be there.
Yeah, so that is it for events. As I said, if you want to get in contact with us, the Irish Warhammer podcast at gmail.com. We will be delighted to receive any kind of feedback.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like us to cover, anything we want to change in the way we're covering it.
Or any suggestions as well.
Yeah, we're totally flexible.
Okay, guys, so thanks for listening,
Thank
and
you.
we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye now.